And coming up on this episode of the Marty Mariner Show, well, I can't begin to tell you how excited I am to speak to my very special guest today. I know I use the word legend a lot, but there is no other word that can describe this fella other than a legend. Look, go into your search bar, type in Australia, soccer, social media, and click on images. You're going to get a photo of this guy. Joe K Football is joining me for a bit of a chat, a bit of a chinwag, a bit of a conversation. Look, this guy is everywhere and works his backside off to do it. He is all over the game, not only at the A-League level, but now at the championship level as well. He knows his football. He knows football in this country. And I'm really looking forward to catching up with him for that proverbial chat very, very shortly. He's also got a very, very exciting project which is underway. I want you to hear about it and I want you to support it. He's one of the nice guys of the game. And yeah, let's I can't wait to have a chat to him. And I can't wait for him to tell us all about this new project that's going to be coming up very, very soon. But before we catch up with the legend himself, Joe K Football, look, I know in the last episode I had a little bit of a shake my fist at the cloud kind of old man moment about this whole membership thing and the whole, ownership thing and the shareholders and all that sort of stuff. And let me just clarify, just so everyone knows from the outset, people who've decided to hold off on memberships because of doubts of different things, all power to you and respect. People, I know some people are talking about the 3 games or the 6-game passes and they want to wait for that. Total respect for you too. Each to your own. And I get it. I read the same articles you do. I hear the same stuff around the grounds that you do. And I'm none the wiser to anything that is going on in this club right now. Am I a member? Yeah. Have I signed up? Yeah. Me, my family, my grandkids will be there too. I even get a media pass that means that I don't even need a membership to get into the ground, but I want to be a Mariners member. So I paid my money and I'm a member of the club, and I'm proud of that. That's for me. My thoughts are this: I don't know what's going on in the back room, and quite frankly, as long as the result is the Mariners are still around and we've got a team on the Central Coast, both for our men and our women, I'm a happy camper. That's what I want out of this, and nothing I can do now or influence or protest about is going to change the fact that what will be, and those with more money and more capacity will make all the decisions that need to be made. The capacity and the decisions I can make are coming down to game day. Our men have had their first full pre-season for what, 3 seasons now, a number of seasons. And I know in talking to a number of the fellas they're putting in, they are really working hard. And it must be hard for them with all the noise that's going on in the background and, comings and goings and what's going on here. It must be tough just to focus, but they're doing it. They've had some decent results in trial games as well. And our women just kicked off their training last week as well. New people at the helm. Some of our favourites have gone, moved on to other clubs. There'll be some new players coming in and some exciting names there as well. At the end of the day, my focus isn't on shareholders and owners and all that stuff. As much as I respect them and I want them to be there and I want them to invest in this club, my thoughts game day. We kick off an F3 derby in 3 weeks' time as we go to recording against the Newcastle Jets. And I can tell you that at kickoff in the F3 derby, I ain't going to be thinking of shareholders or owners. I'm going to be thinking of those 11 players on the field. The guys that are out there to represent our club, the history, the badge, playing in front of the palm trees, the giant sauce bottles, what our Mariners are all about. And it don't matter what's happening up in boardrooms and on telephone calls and emails. I'm sure that is getting handled as it needs to get handled by people who handle that kind of stuff. But my support ain't going to change because those boys are putting in. I'm going to put in for them too, and I'm going to be there and I'm going to support them. And regardless of result, as much as I will, oh God, how would I love to beat Newcastle in round 1? I wouldn't be a Mariners fan if I never said that, right? But you know what? If those guys go out there and they put in absolutely everything that they've got and they come off absolutely smashed, regardless of results, I'll be a proud fella and I'll be cheering them on the following week as well. Same with our women, new players, As I said, some quality has gone. We've got some quality coming back in. Let's see how we go. But the 11 players that are out there have got all my support. I'm there for them. They're nothing to do with what's going on in boardrooms and shareholders and all the stuff we keep talking about. They're there to play football. And I'm a football fan. So for me, it's a bit like respect to everyone. You make your own decisions on what you want to do. This is not an argument to try and say you're wrong and they're right and everything like that. You do what you want to do. But I'm telling you that come round one for both our men's and women's team at home, I'm going to be there. And I'm going to be behind the boys. I'm going to be behind the girls. I want them both to get 3 points in that first game. They're going to have 100% of my support. I've seen us win grand finals. I've seen us collect wooden spoons. I've seen the ground at capacity and been amongst that crowd. And I've been there, as I said in the last video, where I literally have had a bay to myself. I'll be there in 3 weeks' time when the men kick off and 5 weeks' time when the women are there, because it's what we do. Mariners fans, respect your opinions. You do what you got to do. But let's get behind this football team, because the only thing they're focused on is the football. And to me, that's what it's all about. But enough of that. Let's get this show underway with our very, very special guest, Joe K Football, coming at you right now. Looking forward to this one. It's the MartyMariner Show.
Welcome to the MartyMariner Show, where we chat and have some fun. Central Coast Mariners on the go, football's where we get things done. Let's go, let the conversation flow. Rocking yellow and blue, let's steal the show.
And welcome back to the MartyMariner Show. And as I said in the, quite lengthy introduction, including me shaking my fist as a cloud, which is what old men do these days, and had a bit of a whinge again, I did say that we had an absolute legend coming on the show, and I wasn't lying. And as I said then too, if you go into Google search and you type in Australian football, type in soccer, type in social media, press images, you're going to get a picture of this guy, because he's absolutely everywhere. He's selling stuff, he's talking about stuff, and he's got a massive project that's just kicked off as well, which we're going to talk to him about very, very shortly. I think the young kids will say that slay is kind of the word that's associated with this fella now. Look, Joe K Football, welcome to the MartyMariner Show, mate. It's been a long time in coming, but good to see you, mate. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Marty. Wow, that was quite the rap you've given me there on the way in, even using the word slay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like it.
That's what we do, mate. We're cutting edge. We're cutting.
Yeah, very good.
Probably daggy old man is probably what I'll get. But anyway, we shall move on. Mate, a question that I ask everyone when they come on the show straight up is what's your first footballing memory?
Or it would definitely be going to play my first game or my first training session, I would say, as a 5-year-old, and absolutely hating it, begging mum not to take me, trying to get her to take me home instead of going to the training session. Yeah, just crying, getting out of the car. Didn't want to be there at all. Wow. And yeah, how things have changed since then, huh? Can't get enough of it.
I was going to say how the tables have turned. What was it? It just wasn't the game for you? Just didn't want to have a bar of it?
I think I was just a nervous kid, to be honest. I was just a young kid, scared, and then I ended up, sorry, I'm losing my voice a little bit as well, so you'll have to bear with me at some points.
You're a busy man. You're a busy man.
Yeah. No, so actually, the team I ended up started playing with, I ended up playing with my best mate, who I've known now for 20 years, and his dad, who was the coach. I ended up playing with him as a senior player later down the track as well. So it was, really cool.
Gotcha. What position did you play in those early years?
Oh, early years, I was a bit of a rounded child, so I did get put in goals. You know how it is. But
I'm hearing you loud and clear, mate. I was a keeper as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, there you go. So good to see that. I mean, I've always said, it's not imperative that everyone who commentates or talks about the game has to play it, but I think it just adds that little bit, right, of stepping over the white line and finding out a little bit more about what it's about. Yeah.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, 100%. Like, I know plenty of people in the space who, don't play or haven't played, and I've got a different bit of a path to that. But I've played it my entire life. Don't really want to stop ever playing, but anyone can get involved.
Absolutely, mate. Well, trust me, I'm still going over 45s and all that sort of stuff. Not that the injuries hold me back, but that's totally another podcast as well. Look, I mentioned to you just pre-show, I was having a bit of a thought about what shirt is this man going to wear? Because seriously, I think I've seen you wear nearly every club shirt. I don't know if there's too many. I haven't seen you in a Tottenham shirt, mate. We'll have to sort that one out. But tell me, teams that you support, who do you follow around the world?
Okay, so in Australia, it's the Wanderers. They're my only Australian club. I don't
Nice,
follow anyone at the NPL level or anything like that. Very
gotcha.
much a neutral in that
Nice,
space.
nice.
Then we got the Wanderers, who I've been a fan of since their inception. It's where the
Yep,
love for Australian football really came from.
got it.
Overseas, it is Chelsea. Chelsea is my club. Hence why I've never worn a Spurs jersey.
That explains it, right? That explains it.
Yeah.
And earliest memories watching Chelsea play, was there any heroes or any players that you really sort of caught on to?
Oh, I love Ramirez. I
Ramirez,
love Ramirez. Yeah.
class,
So
class.
my first like I never really watched any games as a young kid, obviously, but
Sure.
Fox Sports News in the mornings, that's where I'd
Yeah.
get my wrap, and
How
yeah,
good?
yeah,
How good?
that was
How
it.
good was it? And you someone, I mean, as I said, you go to so many games of football yourself, but are you someone who can't resist to sitting up till like 2, 3 in the morning to watch a game sometimes?
I used to be. I used to
Yeah.
have the worst sleep cycle possible, but as I've grown more and more invested in Australian football, it's
Yeah.
actually fixed that. It's a
Right.
solution to that problem.
I like it.
I'm now, yeah, I struggle waking up for those overseas games now.
Yeah, you'll have to teach me the ways, mate. I'm an absolute wreck on a Sunday these days, but that's probably just supporting Tottenham as well, right? We'll
Yeah.
get onto that a bit later. Mate, the social media stuff. How did all that start for you?
So that started, it was really something I was looking to find something to do with my time. So I started uni and
Yep.
did 2 gap years. It kind of coincided with COVID. So I had a bit of savings behind me and I had a bit of free time alongside uni. And I wanted to do something a bit different and always loved my football,
Hmm.
would chew my girlfriend's ear off about football. And she said, why don't you go, start filming yourself and talk about this and post it online? And I said,
Yeah,
you know what? That's a great idea. And I started doing it and yeah, haven't stopped since.
absolutely. And it's just got, I mean, as you got into it, what did you find you were loving about it? Is it just that vehicle for you just to say what you think? Did you think there was a gap out there where, we weren't, we couldn't promote the game enough? Is there a space there for this sort of thing?
Oh, definitely. I think with football in this country and in many ways the lack of media representation, I think, or independent media in particular,
Yeah.
there's always a gap, and there's still gaps now for people to come into the space and start doing their own thing. And for me, yeah, that kind of where I kind of found my place was actually going out to games and documenting that. That was kind of where I really, really liked getting around it.
Yeah, and anyone who can talk about Scran, and if you don't know it, kids, look it up. But I mean, who doesn't love going to a game? I mean, my dad himself here on the Central Coast he would recognise the ovals we would play at by the quality of their barbecue. I mean, food at the football goes hand in hand, right?
Oh, 100%. It is a pivotal part of the footballing experience. And
Yeah,
I always say you might not get people down to games for the football, but you can get them there with food.
mate, you can get me anywhere with food, mate. You can get me, yeah, halfway around the world. Go from there. All right, let's speaking of the game itself, let's talk a bit of football. The Australian Championship. For those who may not be familiar with the history in this country, how did this whole thing evolve? Where did it come from, and how did it get to the stage of what next month?
Yeah, so it's really all off the back of what happened with the NSL and where those clubs found their place after it fell apart, really. A lot of
Yeah,
them got put into their state leagues and have kind of had a ceiling above their head.
sure.
The championship's main purpose is to really kind of lift that ceiling, allow clubs that are ambitious to reach a bit further and go and compete on the national stage.
Yeah.
There's been probably close to a decade of calls to try and get this established. A
Mm,
lot of it'll never work, can't happen, can't afford it.
yeah.
But the clubs have been persistent. The AAFC, who's kind of been a body behind pushing for this, has been very persistent behind it. And yeah, now we're finally here after a couple of delays on top of everything I've just mentioned.
Yep.
And yeah, we're a month away from it. Very exciting time. And yeah, if you're an Australian football fan or you're just someone who's looking to get involved, 100% recommend getting around it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Is there a team that's not in it that you really wish was?
I would have loved to see Melbourne Knights in it. They
Yeah.
are one of the biggest NSL clubs, have a ridiculous amount of Socceroo alumni who played for the club. They've actually, instead of going up to the championship, they went down to the second tier in Victoria this year. So,
Right.
these things happen. Not everyone can make it in there, unfortunately, but they're a club I would have loved to see in there. Probably alongside Brisbane Strikers as well. That would have been a
Yeah.
cool little throwback up there as
Yeah.
well.
I mean, for a lot of people too. I mean, the names when we talk about the clubs, all of us, we tend to think of like the Australia Cup, right? The cup sets, and we would watch the coverage where there'd be a bell ringing because there's been a goal somewhere else, and the horns going. That a lot of people in this country, they've never heard of those clubs until the Australia Cup started the process and the way that that's run, right?
Oh, definitely. I actually think the Australia Cup is why I fell so in love with Australian football.
Yeah,
It's just something about it. Those early days when it was massive, like the coverage on Fox Sports. I remember it had this
right.
this graphic with all the clubs' flags and stuff like
Yeah,
that, and I used to love watching that because I thought it was so cool that you can watch these games at suburban grounds.
true.
And I think that's that. Yeah, that's where the passion for me really started. I think.
Yeah, and I think, and one thing I was talking about this the other day, the gap between the quality of the Australian Championship and the A League, I don't think it's a massive, massive gap. I don't. There's some quality. Don't get me wrong. The absolute quality in the A League, but do you think that gap is probably a lot closer than what people actually believe it is?
Yeah, I do. I'm a big believer of that. I
Yeah.
think one thing I think we do have to keep an eye out for is how the conditions will affect the
Mm,
level of football, because that's something that the A-League does always have to face. So
yeah.
now we're going to see these NPL clubs competing in summer.
Yeah.
So the gap might be a bit more obvious because obviously in the
True.
Australia Cup, it's A-League pre-season,
Yeah.
NPL pretty much coming into finals, and the
True.
clubs are they're very close. And this year, like we've seen with Heidelberg United, they
Absolutely.
are above clubs in many cases at this point.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, overall, I do think there is not that much of a gap,
Yeah.
with the A-League adopting a more youth-centric approach,
Sure.
NPL clubs looking to strengthen their squads with players like Bruno Fornaroli. There's not going to be that big of a gap anymore.
Absolutely. What do you think this championship will actually mean for the A League? Do you think it's an asset for the A League?
I hope it's an asset for the A-League. I hope it's something that they can look at and maybe see opportunities to loan players there for a couple of weeks. I think that's a perfect opportunity that clubs
Yeah.
should be really looking into. I don't want them to completely ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist,
True.
because it should never be a competitor. It should be a positive thing to have alongside the A-League.
Absolutely.
I do worry slightly that there hasn't been much collaboration, at least that I've seen from
Yeah.
both parties. That's a bit concerning because you want as many football fans getting around this as possible, both Championship and the A-League.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And even now, I mean, it's awesome. I mean, SBS is on board. I mean, how good is that? I mean, if that's not
yeah.
the Johnny Warren, Les Murray, Andy Pascalides throwback kind of, those days. But is it a bit of a concern when you look at it that, the A League still on Paramount, that whole side of it, but this is a free to air? Is that a bit of a worry, do you think?
Look, I think that A-League not having as much free-to-air exposure is definitely a problem.
Hmm.
But I mean, we have to acknowledge also that the money coming in from the Paramount Plus
Oh,
deal
absolutely.
is pretty much a major
100%.
part in the A-League
100%.
staying afloat right now, and SBS wouldn't be providing that. They just wouldn't. They've got
True.
nothing to go off
True.
metrics-wise on this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think there should be any concern about the championship itself getting the coverage, but the
Yeah.
A-League not getting that is a concern in my eyes.
No, 100%. And I mean, how much football is there going to be on TV? I mean, there's never enough, is there? We'll be filling out our Saturday nights, our Friday nights, and into the Sunday mornings, and so many relationships will be on the rocks, I reckon, in the next couple of months. But that's probably another podcast too, mate. While we talk, we mentioned Australia Cup before. Heidelberg versus the Jets. I mean, to be honest, as much as it really hurts me to say, the Jets haven't looked too bad in the preseason side of things. What's your tip for the final?
Ooh, it's a tough one. It is a tough one because
Mm,
I was at the last NPL A-League final with Sydney United and Macarthur,
yep,
and Macarthur were the better team that night by a
yeah,
fair standard. I've
yeah,
seen the Jets play against Macarthur this year in the Cup. I went up to that game.
yeah,
Jets were very good.
yeah,
They are missing Battleado, which I think is a big out. He's at the Under-20 World Cup.
True.
But then Heidelberg haven't had football for like a month's period at this point.
Yeah.
So it's a really tricky one. They've got the
Yeah.
home advantage down there. I think it could go to extra time.
Oof.
This is like a classic case of heart versus brain
Yeah.
here.
Absolutely.
Brain's telling me Jets, but gut and heart is all for Heidelberg.
Absolutely. And now Sabbath's gone back to the Mariners as well, which takes a
Yeah.
little bit away from Heidelberg as well. But we could have left him there. That would have been good to beat the Jets. Maybe that would have helped as well. Might be another decision for another day. Okay, so we've talked a fair bit about the championship. So I think now is a great time to talk about a bit of a project that you've got going now, which, from everything I've seen, mate, is going absolute gangbusters. I see pictures of this. Well, you'll tell me about the magazine shortly, but everyone seems to be on board. Can't wait. This will be great. Tell us about what's going on. How did it all start? And where is it all at now? And more importantly, how can we get a copy?
We'll get to that. Don't worry.
Absolutely. I've already got mine on the way, mate. Don't worry about that.
Legend, Marty, legend. So this has been a big project I've been undertaking for the last couple of months, and honestly, the last couple of years, it's been an idea I've had, and I have slightly struggled to get the direction I needed to get this over the line with it being such a big project. And the Australian Championships inaugural season provided that for me. It was a deadline I had to hit, stories I could tell, and just something I could really hone in on and focus on getting over the line.
100%.
So essentially, the story starts back where I grew up. So I grew up in a small town called Millthorpe in country New South Wales, out near Orange and Bathurst. And in that town, there is a news agency and general store. And that is where I grew up. So my family actually ran the store downstairs,
Right.
and we lived upstairs in the residence on top. So my upbringing featured a lot of lollies from the general store. We had lollies in there, hot chips, movies. Small town, so we had everything in this shop you could possibly ask for, including magazines. Now, so each week parents would spoil us a little bit. We'd get a new magazine.
Yep.
And from time to time, those would differ between K-Zone, which was like a kids magazine with toys in it.
Yep.
I used to get a couple rugby league magazines, like Little League and Big League, those type of ones.
Yep.
And then also football magazines when the time would come for that as well, as I got a bit older and got invested into that. In particular, there was World Cup preview magazines, like the 2010 World Cup.
100%.
And the thing I loved about these magazines in particular was the fact that they had previews on every single team.
Yep.
From nations that I, as a 10-year-old, had no idea about.
Yep.
But you could find out about different players, different countries, different coaches, the jerseys, the colors. It was just the perfect beginner's guide. And that's what I wanted to take and then recreate with my magazine for the Australian Championship.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And don't forget the chart. The World Cup chart
was,
to me, the holy grail, because then you get the stickers and you do all that sort of stuff. I reckon, I ended up doing 3-unit geography at school, and I reckon my love of it was learning all the flags from the World Cup and knowing that's the only reason I knew where these flags came from, was from the World Cup kind of thing. So it sort of evolved into the idea of putting it out there. But what's the first step? Like, where do you start?
You start with, you've got to, it's been a journey because bit of a background for everyone. I don't have a journalism, communications, or even a graphics design degree whatsoever. I'm passionate, and that's pretty much what the fuel is behind this project.
Love it.
So it's been a lot of self-teaching myself, different programs like InDesign to use, a lot of writing and researching, and a lot of knowledge I've picked up throughout my years covering Australian football as well. I've had to leverage. Alongside that, though, I do have to give a massive shout out to a bunch of people who have helped me along the way with the project, such as the guys from Roundball Australia. They helped me write up a extensive A-Leagues once to watch list, which has got some great previews in there. I've also got a feature in there from Cody Ajeda about how Channel 7, I was called what it is, Channel 7 screwed the soccer was the title of that piece in there. It's a very interesting one that
the common football fan goes off. I think that's what we should call it.
I should have put that in there. You would have loved it.
Yeah. Shout out to Cody, legend.
Yeah, absolute legend. And look, there was plenty of other people who helped him with different quotes on individual players to keep your eyes on and lots of stuff like that.
Yeah.
So as to how it comes together, a lot of work, a lot of late nights,
Oh,
and yeah, I've recently sent it off for print, and it will be with me hopefully by the end of this week to send out to people.
absolutely. Well, I know. As I said, I was seeing the pre-sale everywhere, so I jumped onto that because I'm as scabby as it is, mate. I'll save money wherever I can. I was going to get one anyway; wouldn't have mattered. But um, I know I've seen you a few times post a few things. It seems like the support has just blown you away.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it was that first night. It's a big project, and
Yeah,
with that, there's a bit of risk involved as well. And
100%.
just the support everyone gave me on that
Yep.
opening night, yeah,
Yep.
really, it meant the world to me because I was very nervous
Yeah,
pressing, yep, let's do this.
that's
But
awesome.
the very strong footballing community, yeah, put my nerves at ease pretty quickly,
Absolutely.
which was, yeah, really good.
Absolutely. And who do you see as the people who are? I mean, there's again a lot of people have already put their orders in, but who would you recommend this to? Is it across the board? Is it the football fan who knows everything about everything? Is it the guy who's never been to a game before? Does it cover all the spectrum?
Yeah, I would say so. I think there's definitely elements of it that are perfect for a beginner's guide,
Yeah,
especially in the championship section.
true.
And then we've also got other sections in there, such as Socceroos World Cup squad preview section,
Nice,
which touches on some more niche topics of individual players,
nice,
how they've been used in the Socceroo system in the past,
nice.
where they're playing in Europe right now. So that's, yeah, we cast a wide net with this project.
Love it.
There's also individual sections on what scran to eat at every club. So if you're a foodie, something in there for you as well.
Mate, you've got it all covered for me. I honestly, I cannot wait to get the copy, and when I do, we'll be talking about it on this show. Absolutely, mate. I'm very conscious because I want to save your voice because you're doing the media trail at the moment. When we're lucky to get a half hour with you because the way you're all over the joint. A couple of quick questions for you just to finish up. Football wise, your favorite ever commentator of the game?
Oh, it's got to be Simon Hill.
Yeah,
I grew up with him. And it was so weird. Well, we haven't really experienced it truly yet,
yeah,
but I don't remember football without him. I
yeah.
just don't. So it's going to be very interesting for people my age to experience that for the first time.
Absolutely. Um, Up and coming player in the Australian Championship that we'd never heard of, but you think is one to watch out for.
Oh, okay. Never heard of. All right.
Yeah,
There is a youngster over in Metro Stars in South Australia.
right.
Tom Visser is his name.
Gotcha.
He's a young gun. Some people might have called his name in the Australia Cup. He scored a couple goals there against Canberra, Croatia.
Love it.
They've also lost one of their, I believe, I'm not 100% sure if that's been confirmed, but they had another player, Owen Windsor, who's the part of the club.
Right.
So he could have a bit more minutes and opportunities presented to him in the championship
Yep.
and also could be in the shop window for some A-League clubs as well.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Couple to keep an eye out. This is a guy who was predicting Heidelberg to go pretty much all the way in the Australia Cup with about what was it from the round before the quarterfinals, I think it was. So
Yeah, yeah.
listen to this fella. He knows his stuff. A-League, I know it's early. We've got 3 weeks until the A-League kicks off as well. In the men's competition, who are you backing? And you can't say the
Oh.
Wanderers.
I don't know if I would say the Wanderers anyway.
Well, mate, I'm trying to give you an out.
No, I'm a big believer of midfields win premierships,
Ooh.
and I think the best midfields are probably Sydney FC, MacArthur,
Mhm.
and I also really like the midfield of Melbourne Victory.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I will go Sydney FC. Don't
Yep.
want to, but I just think, in particular, Paul Ocon Jr. is a really, really good player, and I think he might steal the show this season, I think.
Absolutely. And another one, one of the last ones. Is there a ground in this country that you haven't been to that you really want to get to?
Yes, yes, and I'm getting there next weekend in the opening round. I've always wanted to go to Heidelberg's ground, Heidelberg
Okay.
United's ground. I've seen it on
Nice.
the Australia Cup so many times.
Yep.
They've got this interesting layout. I don't even know if they've got seating. It's just kind of an undercover section with these concrete slabs that
Yep.
are coloured yellow and black. That's always
Yep.
fascinated me. Something I've always wanted to check out.
You see it in person. Take a selfie with it.
Yeah,
It's got to be there. Well,
yeah.
I can't wait to see you under the palm trees and giant sauce bottles this year too, mate. I hope you get out to God's
100%.
country. I've got to come out to there. Um, mate, before we wrap up, I need to know, how do we get a copy of Soccer 25? Where do we find you? Let everybody, we'll put all the links in the chat later, but I've got to hear it from you. Where do we find you? How do we get a copy of this magazine?
So you can pick up a copy at soccer25.com. Nice and simple, soccer25.com. And I am excited to announce that there are going to be a couple opportunities to purchase in person as well,
Oof.
with more info to come in the coming weeks. But I will announce right here, right now, Marty, that there will be magazines on offer at the opening round of the Australian Championship.
Oh, look at this. I
Yeah.
had to get you doing signings as well, mate. That's the media appearances, mate. It's all going to be. You need an agent, man. If you need an agent, let me know, stuff like that, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on for a chat. Battling with a lack of voice and doing what he has to do, but he's out there and he's getting it all started, mate. You don't need me to tell you all the best with the magazine. All the best. I'll see you all over the internet. If you're not following this guy too, Joe K Football. I think that's pretty much a handle across the board, right?
Yeah, that's it.
That's where you find it. So if you're not following, I'm sure you are, but if you're not, make sure you do it. And mate, look forward to catching up with you, as I said, in God's country underneath those palm trees and sauce bottles in the very near future, my friend.
Can't wait for it, Marty. I'll see you up there. Thank you so much for having me on.
No worries, man. See you soon.
See ya.